Hello, it's Joyful Catholic Hermit, and I'm just doing a little bit of an update. I've been just trying to be very quiet. The pain has, of course, been very bad still, but I have days I can get up, do something for like an hour or two, and then just understand the next day I'm going to be laid out with too much pain. But, I'm adapting to that. I'm also adapting to um, letting go of the temporal Catholic world in as far as parishes and being acceptable to typical parishes. And the search for a pre-spiritual director or any, spiritual director who would um, grasp a lot of the spiritual experiences that I've had all my life, and as a mystic, Catholic mystic, that doors just kept closing. So I decided, to give Jesus my full self, as if I have died in a way, died but yet alive. Observing the world and dead in various aspects, to totally, totus tuus, totally give myself to Jesus, to his real presence, God the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, to just guide me and tell me what they want. Because the other was just, dead ends. And my 25th anniversary of my confirmation as a Catholic is going to be on Saturday, the Queenship of Mary, so day after tomorrow. And it just seemed like time to accept, adapt, and be fully open in a way as one who has died and is as if hovering on the other side, waiting for further instruction, I guess. It was very sweet. The parish secretary had emailed, I'm not leaving Catholicism. I guess you could liken it to more that I have died. And, whatever is next after we die, we're not going to be going to parishes. So, but my mystical life, it got to the point of practically a crisis pinnacle in which I would rather have died just to get away from the flashbacks and the 25 years of ups and downs. Mostly, the problem being is that the clergy and most Catholic parishioners are not expecting, nor do they handle well, a mystic in their own time period. They're not expecting it. I don't know what they have in mind, who the person would be like, but I finally had to accept also myself that this is my life, and there's so much more mystically that I haven't even begun to divulge. So it became practically like a cataclysmic experience within myself of accepting who I am and what I am. It's not my fault. I was born a mystic. And it's also not my fault that even though it's in the Catholic tradition, it seems extremely difficult for Catholic clergy and parishioners to grapple with and accept, especially when some mystical experience becomes noticeable. It's practically like a fear of what will happen, is this going to create scandal? Or, so they go into this ignoring, shunning mode of the person or other aspects, and it I had to decide, am I going to let these other people kill me, essentially kill me, snuff out the life force in me? Or is that really up to God to do, to decide when He's going to remove me bodily from this earth permanently? And I decided I would just take a big step back, pull the plug on myself, and not live like in shame that 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 this is a horrible thing, or um, a bother to people. There's this latest priest that I had had an appointment with who disruption. It's all so negative, and Jesus is love and mercy. So I'm trying this, and it worked pretty well until today. I got this lovely email from the secretary at the parish. I'm no longer a member of the parish technically, but she says, if you ever need anything, call me. If you, I'm not sure if she remembers even what I look like. It's been a long time because of COVID and then my surgery, but I think she might. But I'd sent some of my cathartic emails to the priest, knowing he doesn't read them. But she wanted to let me know, and maybe he was frustrated with, because I write at length. If I decided it's my survival now. It's my survival. Get a lot of these things out, including my thoughts on the autocratic leadership style that has been probably since the Middle Ages, as far back as I can research, is when that got in with the church, because it was also, its society then was autocratic, with the feudal lords and the nobility and the serfs and the the poor uneducated. So and the autocratic style has its points in some situations, but generally is not effective, and not in a huge organization or a huge church like the Catholic Church has become worldwide. So anyway, and I think that is a big frustration point for clergy and Catholic parishioners with mystical experience in someone that the person, I certainly couldn't control it. I had no clue it was going to start happening, other than my angel indicated that it was going to show me to the stairway to heaven. But you don't know. When you get visions and locutions, you don't automatically know what it means. It evolves over time. So, but it's nothing that others can control either. And in an autocratic leadership style that has been passed down for centuries, the inability to control mystics and mystical experiences, I think that's at the root of the consternation. So we had St. Pontian last week, Pope St. Pontian from the 3rd century, who Hippolytus Hippolytus, or however you pronounce that, in the 3rd century, also had decided he was the Pope, but actually it was actually Pontian. But Hippolytus got a lot of people, behind him, sort of like a coup, a takeover of the papacy for a bit. And Pontian realized that it was an ugly or no-win kind of a situation. He just removed himself. He just stepped aside. And in time, Hippolytus realized and also admitted that he was not the rightful pope. And he apologized, and I think Pontian might have been briefly then reinstated as the rightful pope. But this is an irony, and I find great humor in it. Not long after they got it worked out, both men were martyred. Their necks, their heads lopped off. So that's sort of the bottom line. I thought, Jesus is love and mercy. This is a beautiful life. My life is filled with so much physical suffering. Why be an occasion of sin for Catholic clergy and Catholic parishioners, or myself, going around like something is my fault, because I have this mystical ecstasy during Mass and had other mystical experiences in the past that required taking some action. That wasn't anything I wanted to know about or get into, but morally I needed to follow through on the assignments God gave me. So this has been pretty good. Like I say, until this email today, which mostly it was to let me know that the priest doesn't read the emails. I already figured that out. But even just that, I decided I would just explain to her, and I think I used the M word, mystic, in my email, and it's sort of liberating. Maybe it's like someone coming out of a sexual closet or something, but believe me, being a mystic is far worse, far worse. So it's okay once you're dead, I guess. That's the thing. So we'll see what happens, but I had a little flutter of back flashes then just from that little bit of encounter. So I'm seeking whatever God wills for me and wants. Maybe something along the lines of writing. We'll find out. Or nothing. Prayer and loving God and enjoying the peace and accepting myself, accepting others, adapting to the pain, increased pain and solitude, and adapting to knowing that sometimes it's the more Christian thing just to pull the plug on yourself and to remove yourself from the consternation of others that then becomes a consternation to myself. Or, I mean, you can imagine when you go meet a priest to see about spiritual direction and you have to go through some of the things I mention of my mystical life, and it's rare. It's a rare kind of a problem to have. So once again, I think I've mentioned it before. It's nothing to want or wish for, frankly. It's not an easy life being a mystic in the Catholic Church today. And maybe it's better than it was in past centuries, so perhaps. I don't know, or if it's changed much. But, and it made it difficult when I did leave the one diocese. At least I had a couple of people there, my spiritual dad dying. I had a wonderful spiritual father for 24 years, and that was a miracle because I had no clue as a early on Catholic 25 years ago, meeting this priest who then was, I think, about 72, and telling him things that I didn't realize weren't pretty commonplace in the church. I kept thinking I was going to find a lot of other people with these things going on. And he just seemed to grasp. He himself didn't have experiences, but he didn't judge me. It was a miracle. That is, I look back, even more a miracle. So, but he's passed on, and so God is directing me. Been very silent, but I've been healing, and I've been also in a better mode by doing the remove myself as St. Pontian did. That was an affirming holy day last week when it was Pope St. Pontian of the 3rd century. It was his feast day someday last week. So it just made sense to me. I thought, here's a pope who had to do that, and to just pull the plug on himself and let God figure it out. So anyway, it's my little update. God bless His real presence in all of you. Appreciate your prayers, praying for all souls.